Whenever fall hits, everyone's always like, pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin. But I'm a team apple girl. Guys, apple is the best fruit, the best fall fruit, okay? And today we're making an apple coffee crumb cake. It's gonna be so good. We're gonna have layers of like a sweet vanilla-y cake on the bottom. Then we got the apples, then a crumb streusel topping on top. And then you could add a little bit of powdered sugar glaze on top. It's easy to make, it's seasonal, it's delicious. So let's just do it. The hair is up, so you know we mean business. All right, so before we start, I just want you to know I'm using a kitchen scale today, and kitchen scales are so great. They're inexpensive, they're cheap, they make baking easier for several reasons. They make your baking more accurate because you're measuring everything out in grams, and you also don't need to dirty up as many like measuring cups and measuring spoons and things like that. So get a kitchen scale. They're like $8 and they will make your life so much better for baking. We're gonna start by making our streusel topping. So that's gonna be the nice big crummy bits on top. That is probably my favorite part. To do this is really simple. You're gonna start off with some flour. We're gonna do 3/4 of a cup or 90 grams of flour. That was 100, we'll live with it. Just means more crumb topping. And then we're gonna do a little dash of cinnamon. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. I will just usually like give a rough estimate. I don't really measure my like spices and stuff. Just kind of like go with what you think looks good. Then we want some brown sugar. Make sure you're using organic brown sugar, organic sugar for everything. So that way you know it's definitely vegan. We're going in with 2/3 cup, 60 grams. Get a spoon or a spatula, mix up your little dry ingredients. So they're all well incorporated. I'm going to be using Earth Balance baking sticks. They just make it a lot easier for baking, honestly. And we need 1/2 cup of butter. So it's gonna be like just one of these guys. Now the way that I like to do this is I first like to just cut the butter with a knife into a bunch of little pieces. Just take my butter and go like this, and I'll just throw it into that bowl, make little slabs. This butter is cold. Like it's slightly softened, but it is cold butter. Now, I have all my butter in there like this. I'm gonna take my knife and start to just keep breaking up the butter even further with the knife and cutting the butter into the dry ingredients. Now, once I got the butter into smaller pieces, like how we have here, looking something like this, getting in there with your hands, because our hands are our best tools. And you're gonna just start clumping and squeezing together the brown sugar and the flour. And the bigger the clumps you make, the more, like the bigger crumb you're gonna have. So I try to always go for bigger clumps because I love when the crumbs are really big. And I'm sure you're thinking, well, why wouldn't we just crumble with our hands from the beginning? The butter pieces are just too big. It would just, you would be there like way too long. Sometimes I even like to like mix it up too, because the vegan butter like can form these big bits on themselves, so you can just like keep breaking it up. We got the crumbs done, so now we can just start making our cake. We're gonna go with all the wet ingredients first, so I'm gonna just start vanilla extract. Again, this is one of those things I just say measure with your heart, teaspoon, whatever that means to you, however much vanilla you like. This is vegan egg replacer. All you do is mix the vegan egg replacer powder with water. This is the one from Bob's Red Mill. It's mostly potato starch based. So just pour that in there. It's gonna help to like thicken our batter up, and it works like an egg. I have melted vegan butter right here. So just pour that in. Non-dairy milk. I love Ripple. It's the only one I use. You guys should know this if you watch my videos. We're going in with 3/4 of a cup, 180 milliliters. Our last like wet ingredient, we're using some vegan sour cream. This is my first time using the one from Foragers, like the first time I made this recipe. Not today, in this moment, but it was good. I liked it. So this one's good, but I also like the tofuti one. We're gonna go in with 1/3 of a cup of vegan sour cream, and that's going to be 80 grams of vegan sour cream. This one's cashew and coconut based. Now we're gonna mix up all of our wet ingredients. So we're just whisking them up to mix them all together. Nothing very exciting is going on. And now we just have to add in our dry ingredients. So we're gonna go in with some sugar. Again, organic granulated sugar. I really like the Florida Crystals one. Let me just look at my book to remember. Okay, 3/4 of a cup, 185 grams. We're gonna do our baking powder, which is going to be 2 teaspoons, which is going to be about 8 grams of baking powder. I live dangerously and I just start pouring things in. The trick is if you're using the scale just to go slow, because it adds up quicker than you think it does. We're going to add in our flour. We're gonna do 270 grams, 2 1/4 cup. And now we'll just mix it up, and you don't wanna overmix this. You're just gently combining and mixing everything. This batter is thicker, like it's a thicker cake batter, so don't be alarmed. If you're like, I feel like this should be a little bit thinner, it's not. This is what it's supposed to be like. I just always like to give a few good scoops underneath to make sure that there's no dry flour under there. Oh my goodness, guys, I love cake batter. Like, I would rather eat cake batter than the cake. I look forward to licking the spatula after this. Let's discuss our apples for a second. So first of all, I live in a house with other people and I needed 2 apples for this recipe and there were 2 apples hanging around, but then I looked today and there's only 1 apple. So just know this recipe does call for 2 apples, but unfortunately, I'm down to 1 apple today. We'll make it work. It's not that big of a deal. And then let's talk about the apple choice. Now for years, I think myself and many people were told that a Granny Smith apple is the best apple for baking. As I've gotten older and I've experimented more, I've used other apples and it always turns out great. So I just say use whatever apple you like, whatever apple you have on hand. It'll be great. Due to only having 1 apple, I am going to chop it up a little bit smaller than I probably normally would if I had the 2. So just wanted to give you that heads up. I always make it my life mission to try to get the apple peel off in 1 peel. Oh yeah, pretty much. Look at that. Look at that. Look how funny. Okay. It smells so good. This morning when I woke up, it was cold outside, guys. So today, actually, when I'm filming this video, it's August 30th, or it's August 31st. Oh my goodness. So basically it's September when I'm filming this video, but it was it was so cold. It was 65 degrees this morning. I got a 9 by 9 inch baking dish right here. I'm a little bit of a nervous Nelly, so I always like, sorry, my camera keeps going out of focus right now. It'll cooperate in a second. I always like to give just a quick little spray. We're going in, of course, with our batter. And the nice part about letting the batter sit for a few minutes while we chop the apples, it helps that baking powder to activate. Now you're going to spread this out with a spatula. You're probably going to be looking at it and be like, Francesca, this seems so low. But the batter rises a lot, so don't worry about that. We got our batter down. We're going to start scattering our apples all around. Oh my goodness. I just dropped one of my valuable pieces of apple. Do your best, really spread it out. Actually, this was totally fine since I chopped the apple up so small. You may be hearing the oven going on and off because it's a gas oven, so it like heats up and then it stops. It's time for that crummy topping that we made. Trying to distribute the crumbs as best I can. I'm thinking very seriously while doing this. And what happens is as this bakes, everything just spreads out and fills in. So do your best to get everything covered properly, but don't worry if it doesn't feel like it's good enough. It will do what it's supposed to. This is ready to go in the oven. It's going in the oven 350 for 45 to 55 minutes depending on your oven. So I'll see you guys in about an hour. Oh my goodness, I wish you could smell how good it smells in here right now. We got still about 15 minutes on the cake, but it smells like fall and cinnamon apples. It just smells so good. While I'm waiting for the cake to finish baking, I'm going to just make a quick powdered sugar glaze. You're literally just going to need organic powdered sugar and a little bit of water. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, totally optional. You could always dust the cake just with plain powdered sugar on top before serving. You can go crazy and make like a caramel drizzle for the top. You can leave it plain. It's really whatever you want to do. I love the little bit of the powdered sugar glaze. I just think it looks pretty. So I'll just make that really quickly. Very simple. We're going to add in a little bit of our powdered sugar. Add in just a dot of water. And then you can mix it up. You can add as much or as little water as you like, depending on how thick and drizzly you want yours to be. Just mix until it's all well incorporated. There you go. Easiest little glaze in the world. It's time to take our cake out. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I love it. Look at this. I mean, this is pretty close to perfection. There is so much to love going on right here. This cooked for 50 minutes. I did the toothpick test once already, but I'll do it again for you guys. And it comes out clean, which is what we want. Now you have to test your patience because we do need to let the cake cool for about a half hour before we add on any of that like powdered sugar glaze. I actually, to speed up the process, just pop mine in the fridge. Hopefully that'll get it cooler a little bit quicker. And then we can just add that glaze on and then we can enjoy it. And so good. If you need any written out recipe instructions, if you need, you know, anything that you want to know about the recipe, you could check out my blog post, plantifullybasedblog.com. Always linked in the description box down below. It has any information you may need. I also write out all the ingredients in the description box down below, and I also link any products that I think you might need, like things you may need to order and stuff. So always check out the description box because I put a lot of stuff in there for you guys. I have no patience. Let's put the glaze on. And I just kind of go back and forth with it. Now you can cut this into as many pieces as you like. Removing a piece of cake, like the first piece, is always the most stressful. That's the inside. Beautiful. The longer it cools, the more the crumb will be together. Like I said, I'm being a little impatient here, but I just want to show you it inside because it's gorgeous. All right, we're by the window in some really harsh sunlight for a second, just because I really want you to be able to see the layers on this cake. Like you have that nice crummy streusel, and you have the apple, then you have that soft cake, and it just looks amazing. Like this is so good. I'm so proud of this recipe. I love it so much. I've been making it for years. It's such a good one. Just if you love apple, if you love coffee cake, if you love these little crummy bits, then you have to make this. Of course, we got to take a bite. I'm trying to get you guys in there. That was a terrible, oh my gosh. Okay, also though, look at this crumb. Hold on, just like the makeup girls. Look at this crumb. The crumbs are my favorite part. So good. So good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you don't know, we started our fall season. This is the second recipe in the fall season. If you didn't see the first one, go check it out. Easy lunchbox ideas. And I will see you on Wednesday with another fall recipe. Just go make this because you're not going to regret it. Bye, guys.